My first guest. Critics have called this gentleman, Gahan Wilson, the Michelangelo of the macabre, the wizard of the weird, the guru on gruesome. His drawings have appeared in New Yorker, the National Lampoon, Gourmet, Punch, Paris Match, and of course, Playboy. His newest collection is entitled Is Nothing Sacred, of which I have a copy here. Please welcome now Mr. Gahan Wilson. Gahan, hello. Have a seat. I've been a big fan of yours for many, many years, as have, I guess, the entire nation and folks overseas as well. And I was looking over articles about your life this morning, and something caught my eye that said you had been born...
Dead.
You're born dead.
Yeah. It's true, David. I was born dead. I think it had a lot to do with my career. I came out blue and unbreathing. And the doctors were advising my parents to forget it and start over again and put me to disposal. But the old family doctor came by, dear old guy played by Lionel Barrymore. He rushed into the operating room and grabbed me, and from somewhere he got a pot of hot water and a pot of iced water, and he would dunk me in the one and then the other, and then he'd hit me, and then he'd do the thing all over again. Mm-hmm. And eventually I started to complain, and I've done it ever since. Yeah.
Now, is there anything to, you have, I guess, a peculiar view.
By the way, I'm sorry I didn't bring along, if I'd known it was Animal Night, my man-eating Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Does he do anything with the bowling ball?
No, he might chew it a little bit.
You're also, you have some interesting ancestors.
I do. The one I'm proudest of is P.T. Barnum. Mm-hmm. And I think P.T. Barnum is sort of like Hugh Hefner. It's America, having run into him, was never the same afterwards. Uh-huh. He really single-handedly created advertising as we know it today. A sensational guy, terrific fellow. Very proud of him. The other one is William Jennings Bryan, who is perhaps the greatest folk hero of the sort of bucolic set that there ever was. I'm not so proud of him. I much prefer P.T.
Barnum.
Yeah, go after him.
Do you find yourself being attracted to circuses and carnivals and so forth?
The sideshow.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually. I like the sideshow much better. I like the freaks. They're fun. They're nice people. And I used to drag my poor father to the sideshow time after time. He hated sideshows, but I loved them. They smelled great. You know, you could smell the fire eaters. He's sweating away, and the tattooed man, and it was terrific. I just love them.
Do you use any of these exhibits or memories or people
all the time?
As
all
far
the time.
as
The whole world is grist to a macabre cartoonist's bill. I used to rely on the classic monsters, you know, Frankenstein, Dracula, the Gothic novels. I found out that the daily papers and the television news are a much better source of grotesque subjects of humor.
So the cartoons we see are actually from real life?
They are, yeah.
Let me, do you want to take a look at some of the cartoons now, or shall we wait? Oh, do the commercial now, then we'll come back and take a look at some examples of Mr. Wilson's work, and you folks will stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Gahan Wilson is with us, Swoosie Kurtz from Love Sydney, and later in the program, Andy Kaufman. We were, let's take a look at some of the cartoons. I guess most of these are from the new publication, Gahan, is that correct?
Most of them are from Is Nothing Sacred.
I'll hold them up, and you tell us what we're looking at.
This one has a doctor, and he's looking at a patient, and there's something in the back of the patient clutching it. And he says, "I think I've found the trouble, Mr. Nadler." Quick and exact
Sometimes just a simple checkup like that will put it
you should have something green on your back, David. You always want to go to the doctor and have it looked at.
Not always that serious either.
This is a touching thing. This is about a painter who's painted, the painter's no longer there, you wonder why, and then you see that he's painted something else, which he took for a rock. It wasn't a rock, folks. It was something hungry.
Later attached itself to his back and dragged him down.
Yeah.
Oh, this is wonderful.
This one is a great favorite with eye doctors. It shows a fiendish eye doctor with a knife at the ready, and a patient was beginning to get the idea, and on the wall chart it says in ever-shrinking letters, "I am an insane eye doctor, and I am going to kill you now," as you sit there reading, and then it sort of fades out. Thank you.
I like the way that guy looks. Now, there is a guy, you see, that's a stoop. This guy...
Well, if you're just about to be destroyed, people tend to look stupid,
Yeah,
you know?
I would guess so.
Yes.
Especially by an optometrist.
Especially by an optometrist. You're just not ready for it with an optometrist. This is a very nice one, sort of sociological. There's this fellow being strapped into the electric chair, and the hood's about to be put over. The doctor's looking sad. The priest is reading from the book, and the guy is happy, and he's saying, "Gee, it's just like in the movies." he's realized a part of the American dream, David.
What a simpleton. That's...
This, I think the simplicity of this one, I'm proud of that. There's a men's washroom in a restaurant, and you've often seen this sign says employees must wash hands by order of the Board of Health. You wondered about it. Well, here's the explanation. You see, the fellow's got these hands, and he's washing them one after the other. There's logic to everything if you just pursue it. This is a little thing about legality. Here we have a court composed entirely of lobsters, a lobster judge, lobster secretary, lobster jury, and unfortunately the client here has got a little napkin which you wear to a seafood restaurant when you're eating lobster. And the caption says, the lawyer's saying, "Your Honor, the defense contends its client could never get a fair trial in his court." And there's a touching one here. I don't know if you get in the TV monitor, but here there's this nice gentleman, and he's in the pediatric ward, and there's all these little babies. He's waving a green webbed hand, and way over there, waving back, is a little tiny green web.
Those are wonderful.
Thank you very much.
You mentioned you were influenced by sideshow freak shows and so on and so forth.
Absolutely, yeah.
Are you also a monster movie fan?
Oh, I'm a nut for it. I've dragged my wife into these. They always show these monster movies in the most despicable possible theaters. I don't know why, but you go and it's usually much more appalling than the show. I mean, many's the time I've heard worse sounds coming from the auditorium than, you know, that sort of thing, you know. That's kind of stuff, you know. You tend to look away from the werewolf and the guy next to you, you know, because he's a little more menacing, a little more scary. But yes, I watch them all the time. I'm an absolute buff.
You also went to visited a monster capital of the world.
I did, yes. I went. My wife is a traveler. Nancy Winters, a novelist and journalist. She got a thing where we were going on a very lovely, healthy cruise in the Mediterranean, and it turned out that we were going to pass nearby Yugoslavia, and it occurred to both of us that Romania was nearby, and therein lay Transylvania, the home of Count Dracula. So I called Playboy magazine and asked if they would be interested if I did an article on Count Dracula in his home country, and they said yes. So the government of Romania made us their guest, and I was shown through the place, and it was an incredible experience. I must confess that I was a little worried because I thought, I'll turn up and it'll look like Skokie, Illinois. But it didn't. It looked just like Transylvania. And I will never forget, see, you've got the thing is divided into various areas, and the approach to get into Transylvania, you have to go over the Carpathian Mountains, which are those mountains that you see in the Bela Lugosi movies, these terrifying looking things. So we went up, and the government had a chauffeur who was a sort of an Ian Fleming persuasion. He'd go as fast as he possibly could without killing you, you know, on any given road. And so we were going up the mountain, and the Romanians have got this sort of mess of ecological sympathy and mysticism. And when they do a road for the first time, they do not actually, they sort of sketch it, you know, kind of roughly bulldoze it, and let's stand back and see what the mountain's going to do. And if the mountain rejects part of the road, well, okay, they try it over this way instead. And this road had been essentially rejected. It was a flop as far as the mountain was concerned. And we kept turning like this, avoiding crevices and things, and it got higher and higher. And the sheep were standing like this. And finally, at the very top, the clouds kept pouring in from all sides. It was really like, you know, some speed-up action thing, special effects. And we were to go through a tunnel, which was just then had been carved to the very top of the Vagarish Pass. And we're just about to the entrance when I heard this noise, and I looked back, and there was this lightning bolt not coming down, but this way, you know, at us. Big, fat, yellow thing, just like that. And I went spat like that right by the entrance to the cave, and little chips of rock hit the... then we went in the tunnel, and there was an old lady in a shawl with a lantern underneath, and she was going, I don't know what she, you know, some kind of thing. And we entered, we came out, and we were in a storm, a terrific flashing light, and so we could not see out of the window because there was just water, you know, just currents of water. And then a lightning would go like that, and you see a jagged rock. And the driver, of course, did not slow down. He kept on going as fast as he could, and into this blinding thing. And Nancy, my wife, was sitting there, and she was doing a repertorial thing of writing things down. I thought she was taking notes, but she handed me this bit of paper saying, "Why am I here?" And I wrote, with a burst of male chauvinism, I wrote, "Because you love me." And that did not work. And then we ran into a landslide. The car suddenly went down, and rocks hit the top of it. And
pretty authentic place,
it was really something else. And but this guy recovered us. And then, as we approached this lovely little inn down the other side of the hill, like again special effects, the rain stops, and there's sort of the drippy wet air. And we emerged to have a vodka, please, at this charming little inn. And there's this huge white butterfly flopping through the air like this. And our guide from the Romanian tourist thing looked at it and he says, "Aha! I see Dracula has taken the form of a gigantic white butterfly to welcome you to Transylvania." Actually happened.
This sounds more like Disney World. Gahan Wilson, thank you very much for being here, sir. I appreciate it. We'll be right back. Swoosie Kurtz will be joining us.